maybe I can learn something off the other cars. Maybe I can learn something off the other cars.
Video was brought to you by supporters on Patreon. If you enjoy these videos, please consider helping to fund them. In return, you'll get bonus content such as access to live streams and exclusive race reports. Follow the link in the description or go to patreon.com/DannyDC2.
Radio again for 10 years.
Oh, it's raining alright. Doing the Funcups this weekend, which are these little beetle looking things. Yeah? Go on, lads. I should be there early, but I had some commitments this morning, so Aaron's out there now. Mr. Cook MR2 champion. I'll tell you more about it.
Alright, welcome to another video. This weekend we're racing a Funcup. What's a Funcup? It's what you're looking at. Basically a Volkswagen Beetle looking thing, fiberglass shell, race engine, no not quite, but it has got a racy gearbox. I'll tell you more about the car in a second, but the reason that we're here is interesting, right? Let me just show you the names on the side of the car. You'll recognise one of them. Hopefully you recognise two of them. Cook. Who's Cook? Now there should be a third name on the car, and that's the whole reason that we're here. But who was it? Who was this celebrity driver that they had? It was a famous motorbike man. It was John McGuinness. We were meant to be sharing this car with John McGuinness, but he's not turned up. Now, that actually gives us an opportunity. So how this opportunity came apart then, they were looking for drivers to drive with John. And Scott from Darkside got asked, but he's away in America doing some America things in big cars and all that. And yeah, Scott put mine and Aaron's names forward. Now, Aaron, you might remember, drove with Darkside at Alton, but he is famous to this channel. Why? Because he's the MR2 champion in the past 3 years. He's not doing it this year, but he is the MR2 championship reigning champion. Yes, he is. So what's ended up happening then is because John's not turned up or whatever he's doing, he's busy. You know, he heard I were coming and thought there's probably no point, is there? Because there's just me and Aaron driving in this car now, we have the opportunity to win some prize cash. We have the opportunity to win £10,000 if we win the first race. Me and Aaron's never done this before, and the Funcup, it's got some weird rules on it. It's got some special things that we'll talk about later, but one of the rules is if you're brand new to it and you win the first race, you can win 10 grand. So obviously we're yeah, we're shooting for that. But let's have a look at the car a little bit more. I've got my first drive out in the car in about an hour's time. Aaron's already done a session this morning. Likes the car, thinks it's good, but if I can get the mechanic. Excuse me, sir, can you show me some more of this Funcup, please? Four. So I was told this morning the only thing that actually is from a Beetle are these window wiper arms. Everything else is completely custom. Now you might have seen these racing in Europe if you're a motorsports fan. I think they originated in Belgium, is that right? They originated in Belgium. So they do run Volkswagen engines, which we'll see in a moment, but other than that it's a fully space-framed fiberglass shell. So we've got a 1.8 litre Volkswagen engine, which you might have found in like quite an old one, isn't it? It's like early GTI. Early Mark II GTR, right. So the engine's a bit of a simple thing. I mean, I bet they've done all they can to make it reliable, but it's mated to something very fancy, which I'll say wrong. Sadev? Sadev, you can't quite focus on it for whatever reason. Why are you not focusing on it? You could just about see it. So it's got a sequential 5-speed, and this one's a bit special than the rest because we've got a pneumatic paddle shift. Central driving position like a McLaren F1. Never driven anything like that before. Oh. Wow, yeah, absolute full-blown race car. other than maybe the engine, but it's only weighing about 750 kilos, right? So it doesn't really matter what engine's in it is. It's going to be the same power as the MR2 roughly, maybe a bit less, but yeah, absolute beast. Now Scott from Darkside has raced in this a couple of times, and there's a couple of familiar faces from the KAs that race in this as well. But yeah, it's a full-blown race car, despite what the body image might show. So yeah, obviously I'm very much looking forward to it. It would have been nice to race with the famous motorbike man, but the fact that he's not here, he's done it before, so the fact that he's not here means that me and Aaron are eligible to win this £10,000. We have to win the race though, and it's going to take a lot of work to do that, not just on the driving, but on our pit stops and a few other things. But yeah, we'll talk more about the car after I've driven it. I'm shortly going to be going out for my first drive of the car. We'll stick a GoPro in. So we're doing a Friday test today, and then we've got a night qualifying because we're racing in the night tomorrow. So we have to qualify tonight in the night, yeah. And then we've got 2 3-hour races tomorrow, which myself and Aaron will be sharing. So this might be quite a girthy video. Are we going to do this prize winning or not? It's all up to you. I mean, apparently what we have to do to win is have a good pit stop. So, but it's 9 seconds or something, a good one apparently?
Yeah, that's a very good stop.
Okay. So I'm not very good at getting in and out of cars fast, so we'll have to practice that. But so we're actually in the GT Radial sponsored car this weekend. Right, anyway, so let's cut to the first drive. We'll see how we get on. It's nothing like anything I've driven before, obviously being... Well, I thought they were rear-engined, but they're actually more like mid-engines, aren't they? It's not quite a... Because the gearbox is on the rear axle, but it's basically a Formula 1 car, the way it's set up. Gearbox right at the back, and the engine's kind of just behind the driver there. But yeah, let's go and see what it's like. Right, it's still wet. I was hoping it might be dry for my session, but it's still wet. But Aaron's going to go out in the car first. Surely you recognise his helmet. If not, we'll speak to the man later. He's going to go out first, do about 6 or 7 laps. We've got a 40-minute session on the testing, so we'll go out for a little bit, have some fun, get the car warm, and then I'll have about half an hour in it afterwards. We're going to do a practice driver swap as well. Remember, we're going to be winning this race hopefully on the pit stop, or we need to be fast on the pit stops. No matter how fast they are out there, we need to be fast on the pit stops. So yeah, see how he gets on.
So Aaron cracked on with the first part of our little test session here. It was pretty wet, but we were able to get a good feel for the car and see what it's about. Now we've already done one test session. I was slightly late to the track, but now it's time for me to go out. So here's the first drive in the Funcup. Now remember, there's no minimum time on the pit stop, so we want to try and practice our driver change and see how quickly we could do it. But note to self, make sure you stretch beforehand, because I actually hurt myself here getting into the car.
Have you? You alright?
Yeah, fucking hell.
You okay, yeah? Right, sure.
So our first driver change left lots of room for improvement. Not only did I hurt myself getting in, but we took over 3 times longer than what the fastest teams will be taking. So if I went for my first drive in the Funcup, span the car straight away, well nearly span it, I managed to not completely loop it or anything like that, but yeah, it was pretty wet, and you know, I know Anglesey in the wet pretty reasonably well. I've raced in the wet here before, and it's, you know, it's not too bad of a wet circuit, but I was really struggling to get to grips with the car. Now this is the first time I've driven a car with a carbed engine, and the throttle response was taking some getting used to. Now your throttle inputs are obviously super critical in the wet. I mean, they are all the time, but more critical, let's say, in the wet when you're trying to, you know, keep the back end in check. The car also had this sequential gearbox with the air shift, so we're relying on a computer to do the downshifts, and yeah, it was going to be quite a hill to climb to try and get used to it all.
I don't know what I did getting in, but I pulled something in my stomach.
Oh no.
Fucking killing, man.
You're right.
It just feels like a hernia or something.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. I proper fucking popped something getting in.
Are you right getting out, or do you want me?
I'll find out in a moment. Fucking hell. Gonna unplug that?
Yeah, you're unplugged, mate.
Right. No, I was fucking couldn't get used to the car at all, man. It's bad that. Oh, I was fucking getting mad. And I'd spun out, and then I was like, once I'd spun out, I just fucking had no confidence anywhere.
Yeah.
Kept trying to clear onto cars, but then they were going around corners and I just couldn't fucking.
Couldn't balance it.
Got some work to do.
Right, we just had his first session. Not good. So I hurt myself getting into the car, which is the excuse I'm going to lean on quite a lot for the next couple of minutes. But long story short, couldn't get comfortable in the car at all. So Aaron went out first, which I've been having a look at some of the data now. And Aaron was, his best lap was 4 seconds faster than mine. That's an astronomical amount. It's a stupid amount. It's not good. It's not good. So where's the time? Well, it's basically everywhere. Just carrying a lot more speed into pretty much every corner. And you know, I felt like, I know I wasn't on the limit, but part of me was thinking there's no point pushing because it's wet today. It's going to be dry tomorrow, so says the weatherman. And yeah, I had that spin early on, and then just had no confidence. No confidence, not good. But the car's just getting like some scrutiny and safety checks done at the minute, and we'll be back out shortly. I didn't think I'd be as fast as Aaron out of the box, but 4 seconds is no es bueno. That's really bad. That's really bad. And our pit stop was shocking as well. So our driver change, we need to practice that. I hurt myself doing it, and we were still about 3 times slower than what we need to be. We were stationary for 32 seconds, where we want to be more like 10 seconds in and out. You know, and the pit stops. This is the first time we'll be racing where the pit stops aren't timed. So there's no like minimum time, where the 750 Motor Club ones, you get like 2 minutes or whatever where you have to be stationary. In these, there's no minimum pit stop time. So the faster you do your driver change, the more seconds you save on the circuit, right? So yeah, we've got some work to do. We're gonna have to practice some driver changes, and I am gonna have to try and find 4 seconds, at least 3 seconds on that circuit. It's gonna be wet again for the next test session. It's Anglesey, has got no intention of drying up. It's very wet still. But I've just had a Red Bull, so anything could happen, yeah? Hopefully something happens, but yeah, I did not have the pace. The thing I was struggling with mostly on the car was the throttle. It's kind of like an on-off switch. It is a carbed engine, it's not fuel injected, so I'm gonna have a look at the carb. It's just down here, look. But yeah, the throttle is very much on or off, and the travel on the pedal, there's not really a lot. So I don't want to feel too bad, but at the same time, you know, Aaron's only driven the circuit today for the first time. I've driven here before. We're both new to the car, but yeah, I need to up my performance, or else we're going to have no hope of winning that race. No hope, unless I can pull something out of the bag. Have I mentioned yet, hang on, have I mentioned yet that I had COVID last week? Might be time to pull that one out. I'm going to save it for now, but yeah, I was pretty ill last week, and this is my first time doing anything. It's the first time actually leaving the house. Yeah, so that's another excuse anyway. Have you found any excuses for me? No?
Your wipers weren't working.
And the wipers weren't working. Yeah, that's 4 seconds easy. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, we're going back out in the car shortly, so I just need to push harder. And I mean, Aaron's a very experienced driver, but what I need to tell myself is that if he can control the car, why can't I control the car? I mean, he's an MR2 race-winning champion, and I'm perhaps not, but you know, come on, we need to do it. If we want to win that money, we need to do it.
Where's the seconds from, Aaron? Where's the seconds going to come from?
That right pedal.
Come on.
How do you rename something?
I need 4 seconds. Can you just try 4 seconds slower to make me feel better?
Whatever's easier.
Doing some practice on getting in and out of the car. So the fast teams can apparently get one driver out and one driver back in 9 seconds. But I don't know how we're doing that. Jim, that's Aaron's dad, he's just giving me his belt and we've jerry-rigged some kind of support for my stomach. It's actually feeling really good. Right, it looks pretty ghetto, but just putting some pressure on there, it feels good. So yeah, I'm blaming the COVID on that one. I've not been to the gym for 2 weeks. But no, we need to really nail this, because if we're losing 20 seconds every half an hour, then we're going to be nowhere.
Get set, go. You say when to stop.
So what we're doing here then is trying to improve the time it takes for us to swap drivers. So in the practice session it took us over 30 seconds, which is 3 times too long. Now we haven't got a lot of people with us, and Jim's got to go on the race day as well, and I've not got any friends helping us, so we'll not have the most hands that some teams have. But let's see just what improvements we can make to try and improve this process, because it'll really help us in the race.
There's still 10 seconds off what we need to do.
You just don't want to hurt yourself.
That was alright, that's just the floor. Slipping on the floor.
Do that. Okay, ready? On your arms, get set, go.
Hands on the steering wheel. Going to start. Okay, it's starting again.
So something that really helped out here was the mechanic next door offered his hands. So now we've got 2 mechanics leaning in and doing belts and radios and stuff, and that helped us get a couple of seconds closer to where we need to be.
So we've gone from 30 to 15. We'll take that. Now everyone's having a go look. Got something started here. Right, we found 15 seconds on the pit stop. Right, and now we need to find 4 seconds a lap, because that'll soon burn up, won't it? Fuck. Alright, yeah, that was worth doing. We'll do some more of that, I think, later. Obviously we'll practice in the, what do you call it, when we do the practice we'll have a driver change, and also in qualifying later. We've got a night qualifying tonight, and if I mentioned, we'll be on circuit about 10 PM to do a night qualifying, so that'll be quite cool. Right, it's time for the next session. So Aaron's going out first. I'm going to set the delta time again. The track's a little bit drier but still wet. But yeah, we need to find some balls, right? We need to find some balls, right? Hopefully I found them. This strap's doing some work. I'm slacking it off a little bit for now, but yeah. Come on, we can do it. nice shot. What a funny looking little car, eh? That's the fun part of the Funcup. Alright, Soren's going to go out again and do 10 minutes or so. Set the delta. It's all about the delta. Then I need to find some balls. Where are they gone? Have I swallowed them or something? Is that what's popped? Maybe that's what popped out. Maybe it was the balls. But we've strapped them back in with that belt. Hopefully they'll stay where they should be now. Yeah. That's where the pee comes from.
So despite this little spin, I was actually performing a lot better on this run. So I got the gap between me and Aaron down to, I think I actually went faster than him on this run, but then he beat me in the next one. But yeah, we're finally about on pace with each other. But I definitely found the limit, and these cars, they don't have a lot of steering lock, so when it goes, you have to get off. You can't just ride it out like in another car, in an M3 or something. You can't just ride it out. You have to, yeah, rein it back in.
know.
Yeah, drying out, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
get a
yeah.
line.
It's maybe a bit drier for me than it was for you.
It was good.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Huh?
We might be on pole. There's only 2 left, in first and second.
Get fucked. Funcup do a draw for the. What number are we?
97.
You're on pole.
Second. No, second. P2.
P2 pole. And he drew myself. I've got 10. Oh yeah.
But this is the first race, yeah?
That was easiest qualifying with it.
So what's going on here is the Funcup qualifying is all randomised. Doesn't matter where you qualify, your number gets picked out of a hat and it goes on this board. And with that method, we've ended up qualifying on the front row, P2. This is for the first of the 3-hour races tomorrow.
Right, it's time for nighttime practice / nighttime qualifying. Aaron's going out first again, but we've got slightly longer on this session. Oh, it's very windy. So we've got extra lights on the car. It's just under 10 o'clock and we're running till 11. I don't know what this gimbal's doing, it's got a bit of a piss on again, but all the cars outlook. Oh. I mean, it's really, the camera's doing a good job, it's really more like, there we go. That's what it really looks like. So yeah, Aaron's going out first. We're going to do 10 minutes each. So he'll do 10 minutes, I'll do 10, and then we'll practice a driver swap, do another 10 minutes, you know. It's very windy, oh, it's so windy. Wow. It's proper windy. But hopefully it'll be all right. It's so windy, is that why the gimbal's having a bad time, because of the wind? Can't you do a bit of wind, Mr. Gimbal? Wow, you've got the right tilt on. We've put a driver cam in as well, but yeah, nighttime practice, so we'll get an idea again of where we are. It's not rain since it's a dry track. Obviously it is at night, but yeah, I've actually driven Anglesey at night before, so fancy that. This is the only circuit that I've actually driven at night before, which was in the Enduro KA last year. It's been a full 12 months since that, by the way. That was the first time we drove someone else's race car. We entered a race in a car that weren't our own, and obviously we've done a lot since then, but yeah, marking the anniversary of that in style by doing the Funcup here this weekend. But anyway, I know you're only wanting to see the race. Don't worry, we'll get to the race. It's going to be a busy weekend. Here we go. get ready, we're going out. Night time. Right, I've just done the first little stint there, so a little bit off pace again. We'll need to rein it back in. Obviously had a few traffic moments, but we're about a second off the pace overall, so we need to try and find a second. It's got a lot darker now. The headlights in the rear view mirror is, wow, it's spooky, you know. Like, I overtook a few cars and then just seeing them in the mirror, then obviously I've got a bit of like, what do you call it? Fear, especially at Rocky at the top corner when I'm seeing headlights in my rear view mirror. A bit spooky. It's a lot darker now.
Oh, yeah.
So it was good fun racing around Anglesey in the dark. Me and Aaron both had a couple of goes. On this pit stop, you're going to see another car pit next to us, and this is the really fast team, the 9-second team, right? So I'll put a timer up for both of us, just see the difference here. So that was a pretty slow one for us, but I'm sure the other team were thinking the same. They only did it in 11 seconds. We were 17 seconds slower. We're going to be pitting 5 times in a race. So that's a lot of time to lose, no matter how fast we drive on track. If we have another quick look at the pit stop, obviously they've done it once or twice. Everyone's got the role very clearly defined and they've got more hands on deck. Whereas our pit crew was spread across a couple of teams, everyone doing what we could. We did improve it over the next day, but ultimately I think we had to admit that no matter all the practice we did, even 11 seconds seemed very unattainable. thing that's quite interesting about the green car Team Olympian, whilst everyone else was out doing night qualifying, practicing in the dark, they were pitting and practicing pit stops and pitting again and practicing driver changes. Just take note of how many times during this clip that they actually come into the box. They were going out, doing a lap, not even a lap, boxing, and then doing a driver change again. Everyone else was practicing the track and they were practicing driver changes.
Can't drive on the road.
Alright, so that rounds up night qualifying. I think we're about mid-table. So we're going to start second in the race regardless. I mean, oh no, this is the night qualifying. Yeah, we don't know where we're starting in the night race, but we're probably starting about, but we are starting on the front row for the race tomorrow. I think we'd probably like to have a bit more pace. But we'll see what Aaron's saying. We can have a go through the data and have a look. But I guess mid-table's not too bad.
Yeah. It was the tire pressures. Tire pressures have peaked. Yeah, they've gone up. So because this morning we set it lower, obviously because it was raining.
Yeah.
I didn't drop them any when it dried.
Yeah.
So they come in at 34.
Well, I think I banked half a second off of it straight away.
So you can't even turn into a corner, which you couldn't, could you? As soon as you push into a corner, it's backwards.
Well, I think a lot of people are taking turn 3 flat.
Yeah.
And every time I tried it, the back would step out and then I'd scrub loads of speed off.
Yeah.
So.
Did you take it flat in the end, turn 3?
Yeah, but mid 3/4 of the way through, it just goes, doesn't it? It has a little 3/4 way through.
So just the rear pressures, was it?
Yeah, just raise, yeah.
Right. 5th in the end.
5th in the end was it.
Went from 10th to 5th after you changed your tyres.
Yeah, I could literally just see the top, like, round turn 1, 0.15 up.
I couldn't do turn 2 at all on my stint. Every time I turned in, it just fucking came
That's
out.
what it was doing to me. And then coming out of there, I was like 0.2 up, and then coming round the back, I was then gaining time out of turn 3.
Right.
It wasn't scrubbing.
Yeah. Right, so yeah, we were 5th in the end, out of 17, so not too bad. The reason the car was as unstable as it was, apparently, I mean, I don't know if we had to check on the GoPro footage, it might be a bit dark, but Aaron knocked like nearly a second, was it a second faster in the end? The last session, was it about a second faster?
Yeah, a good second,
Yeah. So the reason was the tyre pressures on the rear were still set to their wet pressure. So obviously they were a bit too high. But yeah, found some pace after that. So yeah, faith restored, 5th overall, but we're going to be starting second for the race in the morning. Oh, we've got qualifying in the morning to do yet? Yeah. We've got another qualifying session. Right. Practice. Right, we're all done for day 1. So it's getting on now, it's 11:10. Time for bedtime, but you've got some final checks to do, aren't you? Yeah, just a bit. Nice one. Right, see you in the morning. Right, it's the morning, it's race day. So we've got a qualifying session / practice session this morning for the first race, which starts about midday. That's the race that we already know that we're starting on the front row for. Aaron's going to start the race, we've decided. I'll start the second one, he can start the first one. But we've got a bit of tyre scrubbing to do. On this session, we're going to scrub the brand new tyres in, then we're going to pit and put the test tyres back on, just so we can go out, each of us, and really lean on the tyres and just, you know, see how fast we can really go. Because we're a little bit off pace yesterday, but obviously we had the tyre pressures were a bit high. So we want to go out with lower pressures and just see what we can actually do and really try and lean on the car. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. We've just been called to assembly. So yeah, Aaron's going to go out and he's going to just scrub the release agent off the tyres. Not push too hard, just push enough to get them up to temperature, get them hot, and then we're going to box back in, and then yeah, we'll put these tyres back on. We got the Mazdas, there's some MX-5 racing on this weekend, they're out just now. Here we go, there's one, look, ooh, wow. There's one just there. It's very windy, the weather is apparently not going to rain today, but it's, yeah, it's very, very windy. So we'll, yeah. We've got the spoiler on the least draggy setting. So yeah, see how we get on. Master's calling us again. They're the team that's the fastest at the pit stops. Aaron's just gone out again. It's very slippy, that car. Obviously we put the test tyres back on, but very slippy. I mean, slightly faster than yesterday still, but yeah, very, very slippy. Right, we've just completed the qualifying session, so yeah, Aaron reckons on the new tyres obviously had a lot more grip. I think these tyres are pretty spent, so we didn't learn too much. I'd say I had some fun, but you know, I was not trying to make the back step out, but I was just having a bit of a bad time. Trying to keep the back end in check around the second half of the lap. It was getting really difficult, but I think we're going just to get weighed now. Yeah, I think he wants us to get weighed ourselves, because the car has to be, believe it or not, I think it's 740 minimum weight with driver, so obviously that's crazy light. Yeah, it feels good, the car. I was a lot of brake locking, and yeah, I didn't learn a whole lot today from yesterday, but I think in the race on the better tyres, Aaron's starting on the front row, and we'll just see how we go. We've got a new method for the pit stops as well. We're going to do the driver who gets out of the car is going to do the radio for the driver going in the car. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that speeds things up a little bit or takes a bit of complexity out of it. But do you want me to get weighed?
Yeah.
All right, let's go and get weighed. All right, we've just been called for the race. Remember, this is the first of 2 3-hour races. Aaron's starting. So we're starting on the front row. The car's just been called to assembly. Still need to stick the GoPros in, but he stalled it. Embarrassing. Alright, we're all assembling. Look, we're in P2. Remember, the start was a random draw, and it's like that for both races. So qualifying is more like a practice session, which Yeah, it's something different, isn't it? There's a few different rules in this, like the pit stops are quite frequent, every half an hour. The qualifying, that's a bit strange, isn't it? There's a few kind of strange things, but obviously we're pretty happy with the draw, starting second. And obviously Aaron's going to be starting this one, I'll be starting the next one. We don't know where we're going to be starting in the next one yet, they'll do the draw after this race. So yeah, 3-hour race. The GoPro should last for hopefully at least 2 hours. But we've got the V-Box video in there as well, which I'll be recording, so towards the end of the race we'll be using that. These races are apparently won and lost on pit stops, and we've done all we can in the practice, but we're still a good couple of seconds off what the faster teams are. Some of these guys have been doing this years and years and years. I think the Funcup in general has been running way over 10 years now. So yeah, we can just do our best, can't we? Drive fast, see what happens. You good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
Right, go. That was a late whistle blow. I didn't want to start the GoPro till right at the end. They're on these endurance batteries, so see how long they can go. The winner of the last race has to start from the back. These are probably going to be up near the front in no time at all. We'll see how they get on. They're the ones to watch. I'm not allowed to film on the pit wall because of safety, but Aaron led for the first 10 laps, and then a JPS looking car caught and passed him. He was catching him by about a second a lap. It's crazy, right? But yeah, we're now in P2. We're about halfway through Aaron's first stint. I'll be going out in the car in about 15 minutes. Right, I'm belted up. Pit window opens in about 5 minutes. Safety, safety. So nice quick driver change, please. Hopefully come back out in second place and then hopefully drive fast. Let's see what happens.
you might be able to tell, I was really struggling with the downshifts under braking in this car. That was the biggest issue for me throughout the weekend. So you've got no ABS, you've got a pedal box, the brake pedal and the feel from the brakes feels pretty good. The feel feels good. Yeah, I'm good at English. But you know what I mean, the actual, what the pedal's telling you feels right. But what's happening is, we've got this pneumatic air shift for the sequential. So obviously that's using some parameters to calculate when to shift and when to clutch and all that stuff. And that's what I'm having issues with. It's a proper motorsports thing, mind, you know, it's all set up and calibrated and all that jazz, I'm sure. But on this lap I managed to get it just about right, but it was a rare occurrence. It's a little bit bumpy, so you've got a bit of brake locking going on, but the downshifts just seem to have a bit of a world of their own, and they sometimes go into this kind of no man's land where you're pulling the downshift to go, and it's just, yeah, it just doesn't really know what it's doing. So you're trying to go from 5th gear to 2nd, and yeah, I was just not quite getting on with it. I kind of felt, certainly at this point during the first race, I was thinking, well, I'm sure I would be faster if I had a H pattern, but we didn't have a H pattern, we had the sequential, so we just need to try and get on with it. And one of the things I was trying to do, which I'm not sure if it helped or not, was to do most of my braking effort and then start to downshift and kind of downshift as I'm kind of trail braking into the corner. But yeah, I never really, even at the end of the weekend, I never really decided what the best way through corners or into corners was with this gearbox downshift. It's very aggressive, and you know what happens when you snap the clutch out when you go for a low gear in a rear wheel drive car. Then yeah, it can cause instabilities, and yeah, I was finding that. about wraps up my first stint. I had a couple of battles but wasn't overly happy with my performance. And we need to take on some fuel in this pit stop, so it's not going to be just a quick driver change. You'll see the mechanic Robbo putting 20 litres of fuel in. That's one dump churn, and then at the next pit stop we'll probably have to put 2 of them in. I think that's how we did the tactics. But yeah, that's my first stint finished.
I've just finished my stint, my first stint. Not too happy with where I drove. I was struggling for rear grip everywhere. I was hoping I'd have a lot more rear grip on those new tyres, but yeah, I was not very good. Just struggling a lot. I was playing with the bias quite a lot, but didn't seem to help. I was struggling with the rear into corners, and then just crap. Where are we? So we're 7th currently. But there's a safety car out at the minute, so that could all change in a moment. Not long until I'm going to go back out in the car for my session. We got really unlucky in that little safety car fiasco. We ended up dropping off the lead lap, so we're a lap down. We're 7th, but we're a lap down, so unless we get lucky again later in the race, there's still an hour and a half left. We're not even at the midpoint yet, so but yeah, I mean, I don't know what I can do differently to try and control the car better. Obviously drive better would be a good start, wouldn't it? But I mean, I was really struggling. I don't know what it looked like on camera, but I would say I had the worst grip in that first session than what I've had throughout all the test sessions and everything, even though we're on the new tyres. So I don't know exactly how that works, but like turn 1, for example, normally it's just a lift, get back on the power and just coast round really. Same with turn 3, but yeah, just no. This is, I'm doing what I normally do. I'm doing it the same. I do it when I drive a dark side as well, when I do these endurance ones. When I'm in the pit lane now, I'm thinking, wow, I really need to work on like my endurance and my fitness and all that. And you know, I want to be a better driver. I want to be a better driver, right? But what do you do to be a better driver? You just need to keep driving and keep pushing, right? I mean, obviously it's first time racing the car and all that, and it shouldn't feel too bad. But if I want to be a good driver, I need to be able to jump in any car and just drive fast, right? That's the goal. I mean, still, we've only been doing this, what? We've been doing it a few years now, but, you know, still dropping the ocean compared to a lot, so just need to keep driving. But yeah, well, anyway, still plenty of driving to do, still plenty of time in the car. Hopefully I can get it cracked, but let's go and see. About to go into the third hour of the race, which will be the end of my second stint, and that's just about when the GoPro packed in, so I was pretty impressed with that. 2 hours run time at 1080 on one of those endurance batteries seemed pretty reasonable. But yeah, we've got V-Box video for now, so we're going to box at the end of this lap and we're going to let Aaron take over, and then we'll be back in to do the final stint. And we're hovering around between 5th and 7th place at the minute, so yeah, we're well in the top 10. If we can hold it together, then you know, a top 10 finish on our first outing. It might not be the 10 grand winner's prize, but it still will be pretty good. Just finished my second stint, probably better overall I think, but still struggling. Yeah, still struggling. Obviously we can have a look at the data, but Aaron's got the third fastest, or our car's got the third fastest lap in Aaron's hands. But yeah, just I mean, obviously I'm doing something wrong, right? The problem with these cars are being carved up and everything like that. We don't have so much data on the V-Box. You've just got your speed, so you can't really look at like throttle position and stuff like that. But yeah, we're not doing too bad. We're 8th. We're in the top 10. So you know, we're just, is that in the top half? I think we're just outside the top half of the top 10. No, we're just inside the top half of the top 10. All right, at the top half of the field. Yeah. So yeah, no, the car felt not too bad when I went out, but then I think I'm just maybe overdriving. Maybe I can try in my final stint just to try and not push as hard. And you know, I was just speaking to lad in the garage next door to us, Greensall, and yeah, he was behind us for a little bit in that stint, and yeah, he was telling me a few things that I could maybe. I think I was just driving a bit too aggressively, so we'll yeah, try and wind it back a little bit, I guess. But yeah, we're going back out in about 10 minutes time, so yeah, maybe try and pick it back a bit. I mean, I think we're not going to win that 10 grand anyway. I think that's It would take quite a miracle for that to happen, but yeah, hopefully I can maybe get the lap time down. The car will be the lightest. I've always had fuel in when I've been out, so the car will be light when I go out. So yeah, maybe we can try and just wind it back a little bit and see if we can then go faster, carry more corner speed. If we try and focus on corner speed rather than speed into corners, then maybe we'll go faster.
So Aaron's final stint ended up being quite lonesome. Didn't really have anyone to battle with. He was just lapping and lapping and lapping without too much concern. But then there was a safety car just in time for my driver swap.
Start her up, start her up.
So this safety car ended up giving me some of the probably best driving experience of the weekend, simply because it really mixed the order up, and then it allowed the lapped cars to overtake, by which point we had been lapped. Yeah, remember we're 2.5 hours into the race now, so for the next 20 minutes or so we just need to drive fast, and we've got a lot of cars around us and a lot of cars that I could catch and overtake and feel a little bit better about myself. So let's go and do that. then out came the checkered flag, and we had finished 5th. Out of 17 starters, we finished 5th in the first race. Not quite first place, not quite £10,000, but I was happy with that. We were still a lap down on the leader. Aaron managed to clock a 20.8 best lap time, which was good enough for the 3rd fastest in the race. On average, I was about half a second to a second slower at the start of the race, and then towards the end we kind of averaged out a little bit, and there wasn't too much difference. But yeah, Aaron was definitely the quicker driver. He definitely got used to it a little bit better than me and was pumping the lap times. But overall, we were both very happy with 5th place.
Right, we finished P5. The last stint was quite fun. Some of the slower cars, trying to get them out of the way. No, it was good fun. Enjoyed that last stint. We finished P5, so it's pretty good. 17 starters, and we finished 5th. They're just doing the draw now for the second race. So we'll see where we're going to start in the second race. I'm starting this one. You're going to finish it. Yeah.
157 starting 5th.
They've not called us yet. No way.
267 starting 4th. 146 starting 3rd.
You put a heavy ball in for us or something?
251.
No way!
And
97.
Your pole position for round 4.
Nice. I can't ask for much better than that. Got a professional vlogger turned over. Look at this. Big rig. So yeah, I don't know if you caught that, but we are once again on the front row on the random qualifying order. So we were P2 in race 1 and we're P1 in race 2. So I was meant to be starting the race. I probably mentioned it, but I don't know. I feel like, you know, I would have liked to start like in the middle, really. You know, not just content-wise, but like, you know, learning to drive the car better and all that stuff. I think Aaron's the better driver, or he's certainly taken to it a lot better than me. So I feel like I might ask him to start the race. Is that a cop-out? It's a little bit of a cop-out, but you know, we've not got a rear view camera anyway. All you're going to see if I start the race is me getting passed by people, and then, you know, overdriving the car. And anyway, the lads have got a in this next garage, they've got an alignment rig that they've set up. I've asked them if we can have a look at the alignment and see what it should be, see if it's out or not. But if it's not out and if it's what they should be, maybe make it a bit tamer, because both me and Aaron were struggling with the corner entry to the mid corner kind of oversteer, and then we're losing a lot of time. It's very obvious when we're with the faster cars, with like the green car that was in front of me a couple of times, caught up and passed me. And yeah, they're not exactly, you know, all the cars are pretty even in the straight, but it seems like they've got more corner speed, and obviously they've been driving it a lot longer and all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. But if the car was a bit more neutral on the way in, then maybe we'd be able to carry more speed and then be faster. And, you know, I like a little bit of a string kit, don't I? So got some modified Fords for you. Got Fiestas, Escorts, Pumas. There's even, look, Sapphire. Yeah, all sorts in this one. Right, a bit of quiet periods, nothing on track at the minute. We've just had some dinner. Some Mazda Super Cups just going out. So we've just had a bit of a discussion who should start the race. I was a bit nervous about starting. We did agree already that Aaron would start the first one, I'd start the second one. But with us getting pulled on pole, I was a bit nervous about starting. But I've decided I'll just do it anyway. Should be a good experience, right? We'll start the race, and then I don't think we'll be able to keep the lead, but you know, maybe I can learn something off the other cars and just try and at least stay in the fast pack from the first stint, the first half an hour. Yeah, maybe it'll be useful. And also, Aaron will get to finish the race then, and maybe he'll have a chance to, I don't know, like with my stint, there was obviously a safety car on the first race. I don't know if you saw that. Hopefully the footage has been usable, but yeah, there was a bit of a scramble at the end, which was good fun. But yeah, we're starting alongside Greensall on this car. They've fixed it now, it's all fixed up. I had a little accident in the first race, DNF, but it's pretty much nearly good to go now. So yeah, we'll both be on the front row, and there's a couple of fast cars around us, but yeah, I'll just gonna send it and see what happens. Why not? Me and Aaron both saying the same thing, where we're kind of struggling with the car on corner entry, but I've chatted to some of the other drivers, and then the Funcup Hospitality Lounge, which you can just see behind. Very, very serious operation, very, very friendly bunch, of course, but I've never seen anything like it before. It's nice. It is nice. Yeah, it is nice. Great food as well. French food, believe it or not. I had to ask for a translation, but yeah. Now, speaking to some of the drivers, they're saying don't piss about with the car, just keep driving it. So, because I was thinking of maybe adding some towing or I like the alignments, right? But I think maybe we'll just drive it and hopefully have a better time. If I can wind it back a little bit, like I did in my third stint, if I can just wind it back a little bit, then hopefully we can have a better time. And if nothing else, we'll try and follow some of the other cars around and yeah, just hopefully have a good time. But we're not too far away from going out. This was a very fast car in the first race. I think they've won it a few times, this team. Dressed up like a Lotus. But yeah, having a good time. So we'll be going out racing in about an hour's time. We're going out, so not too long at all. It's a night race, remember, into the night. So it'll be fairly light when we start, but at the end of the race, it'll get dark. Got an MX-5 on fire out here. Oh, something's happened. Blown up or something, is it? Oh shit, big puddle of oil. Oh, she's fucked. She's cooked, boys. She's done. Oof. Oh, another car there, bent to fuck. Banana MX-5. Banana MX-5. Oh man, that's had a smack, that. That's had a smack on it. Whoa. Right, we've got about half an hour to the race, but the lads are going to quickly throw it on the alignment ramp to check it for us. What a set of lads, yes. You are doing the Autismo some good duty here, thank you very much. Appreciate it. They didn't have to do this, but they're doing it. They're settling any fears, and we're getting some new rear tyres as well. The tyres that are on the car. It's very abrasive, Angle C. If you've been here, you'll know that. But yeah, we've worn the tyres a little bit more than. There's a chance we could finish the race and not have legal limit. You've got to have a mil of tread as per the regulations. So yeah, we're getting some new rear tyres, and they're going to throw it on the alignment ramp now and just see if they can find anything. Hopefully, one of the wheels is cockeyed or something like that. Eh? That would be, a nice half a second somewhere, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe.
I won't play that. 17. 82. Wow. 1, 2.
So they've got some clamps that bolt this bar to the subframe, or to the frame. It's not a subframe, is it? To the chassis. And they've got these rigs that bolt onto where the wheel studs go. No, they don't. They bolt onto the wheel studs.
No good tickling it, is there?
109.5.
Some of these are going in our car, I think, aren't they?
These are yours.
Oh, look at them beauties.
Brand new, fresh sets.
Freshies.
Just bounce them up now and
Right, the boys have found half a second. Yeah, this rear left was it 2.5 in? What did you say? It was towing in too much, basically, so the wheel was doing that on the back left. So that could explain some funky handling. I mean, they're a funky handling car, full stop, aren't they? But now the wheels are going where they should be. And we're getting brand new rear tyres. Look, just getting balanced up now. Myers man there, look, giving a little polish as well at the same time. So yeah, feeling good. So yeah, I'm starting the race. I decided it should probably be a good experience to start. And we might get chopped off the start, but it is what it is, isn't it? Aaron's still about half a second at least quicker, if not a full second. I might give him a full second, yeah, probably a full second in it. But we'll do what we can. Right, it's time to go. Almost time to go. The car's just been called to assembly, so Yeah, I'm gonna start the race. We've got fresh rubber, and we've got the wheel. This rear left wheel was a bit funky, but yeah, all I need to do now is drive fast, and then I'll jump in and drive faster. Right, car's going to assembly. So best get there too. Yes, yes. Let's go.
Right, it's time for the second and final 3-hour race. So I'm starting this race on pole position. It's a rolling race start, so we'll do a lap behind the safety car, and then we'll wait for the red lights to go out, and then we're racing. So we've got a couple of fast cars around us. I was feeling pretty nervous before we got going, but once things got going, I was feeling a lot better. But I did make one quite critical mistake, and you'll see that very shortly. So I ended up losing the lead after 2 laps, which I thought I might be able to hold them off for a little bit longer than that, but we're on brand spanking new tyres, and that's the excuse I'm going to stick to. All 4 tyres ended up being changed, so yeah, the car was feeling a little bit squidgy to start with, and you can hear the brakes, you can hear things, you know, locking up and slipping, sliding and stuff like that. But yeah, we've got another fast car behind us now, who's putting quite a lot of pressure on. He's our teammate in the garage. Skipping forward to the 7th lap now, and this is where I make my big mistake. So we're sitting in third. I'm not quite keeping with the front two, but we're not a million miles away. And I make quite a big mistake at the top of this hill. Of these cars is unique. Let's just leave it at that. I'm not even sure how this happened. I've been watching the clip back. I was locking the brakes quite a lot into here, and I guess the rear was still locked. I'm not sure if it was the downshift that did it or the brake pedal, but yeah, the steering lock isn't that great either, so when it does go, it's kind of hard to catch. Yeah, I lost control of the car, dropped a fair amount of places, and yeah, I think we even dropped out of the top 10 here, so not good. Not too long after that, it was time for the first driver change. So it's time for Aaron to get in the car. Let's see how long this driver change takes. Remember, we're looking at about 16 seconds was going to be our best shot. Let's see how long it takes us.
Alright, what happened then? I spun out. When was the last time I spun out in a race? Well, it's not the first time I spun out in the Funcup, but I think it was the third time. That was the worst one by far, but I was a bit like rabbit in the headlights when it happened. I just kind of froze, and I saw that car out-braked himself, and I was like, oh, spicy. But I was putting in pretty consistent laps after that. I was like mid-22s, which is, it's not fast enough, but it was consistently not fast enough. There's a few times where I was getting up there, but nah, I never even got a 21, I don't think. So, I mean, the car's full of fuel and everything, but their pit stop was ridiculous. So I don't know if my GoPro caught it, but we stopped just behind them, and they were, yeah. But we said yesterday they were the team to beat, right, on pit stops. Yeah, not half. Christ. But yeah, we're in P10 anyway, which is where we were when we boxed. So we've not really lost anything. So yeah, we'll take it anyway. So the sun's starting to set. Camera's doing a good bit of work there, but yeah, the sun's coming down. It's only about 8:30, so it's not too late. But yeah, we'll be back out again in about half an hour. See what Aaron can do. Aaron found himself in quite a decent scrap with two fast cars in his stint, and
and it all ends quite abruptly. Quite similar to the experience that I had on my first stint, but I won't ruin the surprise. So Aaron gets in the middle, he's the meat of the sandwich, gets back up to the middle after getting dropped a little bit by the Axia car, and then into Rocket, all hell breaks loose from the 251 car. Right, the pit window's just opened, so I'll be out in the car anytime. Time to get the gear on, get the belt strapped up. Yeah! See you out there. So this stint for me was a little bit frustrating again, to be honest. I ended up catching up this Axia car to start with, and I thought, oh, I've got a good chance here of making a pass. And it looked like they were maybe a bit over on fuel because my windscreen got covered in something. But yeah, I was behind them for a good little bit, and it was looking like I might be able to get past them. But I don't know if they were just playing with me or not. Anyway, in the end, they seemed to find some pace after a couple of laps. That or I seemed to lose some. Yeah, I was still very much struggling to get used to the car. I mean, at this point, I've probably driven it for at least 2-3 hours, including the test sessions. But the car felt the most foreign of any car that I've driven up until this point. All the race cars and with their pedal box, it was the carb thing was a big change. The throttle response or the feeling of the carb at mid throttle compared to full throttle was, yeah, it all took a lot of getting used to, and you'd have thought 2-3 hour races would be enough, but evidently not for me anyway. Anyway, it's time for Aaron to go out for his second stint now. Unfortunately, with all the GoPros dying, I don't have an accurate way to measure the pit stop time, but it felt like we got pretty good at them towards the end. Obviously, we're taking some fuel here, so I'll add some time on, but the V-box resets when you cycle ignition, so it's not an accurate way to time it either. But yeah, Aaron's going out now for his second session, and then after about half an hour or so, we'll be back in the car for our final stint in the Funcup.
Right, just done the old second stint. Go on, lad.
Put your belly on and do extinguisher for these guys.
Yeah, he's coming in now, is he?
Yeah.
Okay. Pit duties first, and I'll tell you. Right, second stint. Felt a bit better, but yeah, I was just speaking to the mechanic there. I don't think I'm a fan of sequentials, right? Now, when I started racing, I always felt like I had a bit of car control, but car control doesn't equal pace, right? I've learnt that, But what's happening is, it's just ramming down the gears, so you shift down, especially into rocket, you're going from 5th to 2nd, like really, you know, slowing the car down a lot. And it's just so aggressive when it brings the clutch back up. And I'm not used to having to deal with the car jumping about a bit. You know, some people when they race, like some fast people, some real fast people when I watch their onboards, they'll just fucking ram it down gears and just snap the clutch up, and they'll just, you know, deal with it, and it's not something I'm used to. So these cars used to be H-pattern, now they're obviously sequential air shift. There was a brief period in between, or a substantial period, I don't know, where they were just full sequential, which might be better, because I think even with sequential you've got a clutch down, right? You've still got a, if I remember from driving that M3 anyway, it's still clutch down, but now we've got a computer basically doing the downshifts, but it's not like a DSG or anything where it's, you know, DSG is pretty smooth on the downshift. I know it's front wheel drive and all that, but it's pretty smooth on the downshift. Well, these are super aggressive, so yeah, I've been really weak on the brakes in general, locking up. I mean, I don't think I'm too bad in the corners. I feel like I've got like a good flow with it. The car's so weird. It's not like anything I've ever driven. Is it fun? It's fun for sure. Yeah. They put the fun in Funcup, right? But I am really struggling to get it pointing in the right direction a lot of the time, and you know, missing apexes, and yeah, the braking's the worst point. I mean, looking at the times, I was doing kind of consecutive kind of 22s in like the first half, you know, low 22s, but that's not fast enough looking at the scoreboard ultimately. So yeah, Aaron's about at least half a second a lap faster every lap. So yeah, but we have P8 at the minute. We've still got just about 40. We've still got about 70, 80 minutes of the race left. So I'll be going out for my last stint shortly, and then Aaron will go back out to finish the race.
So Aaron's second stint was fairly steady. Nothing much really happened. He was getting chased down by this white car, and they sent it down the inside into the corkscrew, which was a bit spicy, but they seemed to have the pace. So they walked away for a lap or two, but then had a bit of a over-rotation moment, an ambition over adhesion moment into turn 2. So yeah, that allowed Aaron to slip back in front and obviously get a few seconds on them. And that was about it for his stint. Nothing else really happened. So we're approaching 2 hours race distance now, and it's just about time for Aaron to pit, for me to start my final stint. And yeah, we'll say goodbye to the Funcup as the sun sets over Anglesey.
Right, it's time for my next pit stop. No, it's not. It's time for my next stint. I'll see you there. I'm rushing.
my final stint in the Funcup, and it ended up being quite a lonesome one. Gave me a chance to really try and focus on the car and trying to improve my driving. I was trying a couple of different things on the braking and trying different lines and stuff like that. It's the last session of the day, so it's not that I can afford to piss about, it's more that I was trying to decide whether or not I liked the car, really. I was trying to decide whether or not, hey, am I having fun here or what? What's going on? Because it was a big struggle to drive. Found it way more difficult to drive this car than what I imagined, which, I don't know, might seem obvious with it being some kind of space frame, mid-engine, sequential kind of race car thing with silly aero, and it looks like an old Beetle, but I thought it'd be quite similar to the MR2 because it's mid-engine, not on the grippiest tyres. But yeah, it was always the brakes and the downshifts that were the weak point, and I don't know how I could have got better at that. Maybe just it seemed so inconsistent. That was a problem. The downshifts seemed so inconsistent. But yeah, it was an experience, that's for sure. Driving stuff like this, driving different stuff all the time, surely only gonna make me better as a driver, right? But yeah, I had a good session there, pretty clean. Lap times were consistent, not fast, but consistent. But now it's time for Aaron to jump in the car and complete the last stint all the way to the checkered flag.
I just finished my last stint in the Funcup. It was slow on that stint. Oh, I'm not driving fast. My fastest lap in that stint was a 22.8, right? And someone's just done a 21 flat, the leaders, so absolutely miles away. Not driving fast. Aaron's just take the checkered flag. Taken, took. Right, so yeah, the race has just ended. We were P7 in that one, were we? P7, yeah. P7. Second in class? What's the class?
Normal, not masters.
Oh, right. All right, fair enough. So yeah, and now the Darkness Falls on Anglesey Circuit. We'll go and see Aaron in the assembly area, see what he's saying. Alright, let's go and have a look at the assembly area. Funcup, was it fun? I tell you what, it was a challenge. Big challenge.
Good driving today, good lad.
Cheers, man. Yes, it was a challenge. I didn't expect the cars to be as tricky to drive as what they were, which might sound silly, but I figured mid-engined little race car with a sequential box and whatever, it should be point and shoot, right? But no, nothing of the sort. It's very dark around here, so I got a big camera out anyway. It's still letting some light in. Oh, it's pitch black. Can you see all the high visors lighting up? Seventh, yeah. That about wraps up the Funcup then. Interesting story. I didn't take the damage liability, the insurance. I didn't take it. I thought about it. You know what would happen with Darkside. Obviously, I didn't want to get stung again. It was reasonable cost, but I didn't take it. And then the lady who sorts it out, Liz, she sent me an email. She says, "Are you sure you don't want to take it?" But yeah, I was hoping, at least we wouldn't have any contact. I had zero contact with anyone. We've been racing for, we've done 3 hours each. Zero contact. obviously all the testing and everything. Had some pretty scary moments, but yeah, no contact. So P5 and P7. It's not quite P1, it's no 10 grand, but no, it'll do. You had fun, Aaron. You had fun. Fun in the Funcup. Right, well that just about wraps us up for this video. So hopefully it's been a good watch. Thanks to GT Radio, thanks to JPR and all the lads who have been working on the car for us. It's been a good weekend. I tell you what, the hospitality is something else. Yeah, the food earlier, like it weren't even in English. It all had foreign names and everything. So it's not just like, you know, we had some good bacon butties this morning as well. The size of the bacon plate, I'll put a picture of it here. Wow, that was something else. Oh yeah, look at the gimbal shots. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I've met a few patrons this weekend as well. Thanks to the patrons who got me some exterior shots as well. I've actually met 3 patrons this weekend. All 3 of them racing as well, that's cool, isn't it? I've got the market cornered. Let's have a little Patreon outro. Thanks for watching. Oh, you'll see me next at Cadwell Park in the Civic. Oh, yes you will. Yes you will. Bit of drama as well, we've got to get dynoed beforehand. We've got to get the power checked. Yep, we've got to go to a club approved dyno and make sure we're all legal. So, I'll see you there for that. Spicy.